What, pray tell, is Lane Kiffin going to do? As it seems, patience is wearing thin on whether or not he's going to be Ole Miss's head coach next week. And we really would like to see this drama played out, but I think they're going to make Lane choose between what I think are really two unfortunate possibilities. But hey, he's about to experience what it's like to be a player. Transfer portal. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If you're into that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer the question in the comments below. What do you think Lane Kiffin is going to do? Do you think that he is going to be the next head coach at LSU, at Florida, or remain at Ole Miss? And I got to tell you, what has made this segment and much more interesting is that the University of Mississippi, flagship university in the state of Mississippi, and its athletic director, Keith Carter, have imposed a deadline on Lane Kiffin to know whether or not he's going to coach at Ole Miss in 2026 by the week of the Egg Bowl. And this is fascinating because we know what that means, okay? And I said he's going to experience what it's like to be a player in the transfer portal, but it's much more interesting than that. So you'll remember last year, Beau Pribula became the poster child for guys that are having to make a decision while their team is playing for the possibility of a national championship. The transfer portal opens when it does. And one of the reasons that we wanted to see a change is Beau Pribula was forced to leave Penn State and go to Missouri, even as Penn State was playing for the opportunity to make the national championship game. And they came very close. But James Franklin went out of his way, and I think many people agree with him and say that's just not fair. He did not want to leave the team. He was going to because he wants to be a starting quarterback elsewhere, and Drew Aller's the guy, and he deserved that opportunity. And I think James Franklin wanted him to have that opportunity. But the way that the calendar is set up, you can't really negotiate in for a guy who's not going to show up anywhere else. So if you're Missouri, you can't just say, hey, we'll wait till you get done. That's not how these things work. That's not how anybody wants them to work, especially in this age where we're paying you salary to be there. But this has been true for coaches for years. But one of the things we've never seen coaches have to do is leave a team that will have an opportunity to play for a national championship so they can go coach another team that was sorry this year. But that's what Lane Kiffin is being forced to do. And I think this is a problem that he has made, okay? One is his family has visited both Baton Rouge and Gainesville. And weeks ago, he's saying, look, I like Florida. Met my wife in Florida. It'd be very cool to be at Florida, but I'm at Ole Miss right now. Then when when Ole Miss played Florida, you heard chants from both sides. We want Lane. He's the hottest name in coaching right now. I've always thought that it was a shoe-in for the LSU job, right? But it would happen like it would after he finished at Ole Miss. But Ole Miss is going, no. We got to know what you're doing. Because A, they want to hold on to their guy. B, they want to force him to either miss the opportunity to coach this team in a national championship, one that he spent years building, and it's their best team ever, or go to LSU or Florida. And Lane's probably looking around like, yo, this ain't fair. It's not supposed to be. That's why they're paying you millions of dollars and they're giving you millions of dollars to go spend on the players you need because you didn't make it last year. They stuck with you. You come back. You're having a great year. They're probably going to finish 11-1. That is going to make them an at-large team in the college football playoff. I also think this is interesting because if Kiffin misses the deadline, there are going to be real questions and ramifications about whether or not he gets to coach Ole Miss, even in the Egg Bowl, let alone in the college football playoff. Now, this is, again, after news broke on Monday that his family was visiting Baton Rouge and that his family was visiting Florida. And the Rebels have won 10 games or more 3 of the past 4 years, including each of the past 2 seasons. And it's the first time that has happened at Ole Miss since 1959, 1960. He's on the short list of their best head coaches. I mean, it's him and Johnny Vaught, really. And once again, we understand the play for more money because at this point it's keeping score for these guys. But at a time when Lane Kiffin's name will never be hotter and there's so many open jobs, I got to wonder if he's the kind of person that would get up from a place that loves him, that he's built into a consistent winner, and that more or less gives him the run of what he wants, to go to a place that is, shall we say, dysfunctional in LSU and Florida. I mean, you might have forgotten that it's not just that Florida fired Billy Napier. It's that the Board of Regents at Florida all but told Santa Ono, who's president at University of Michigan, come on down, interview for the job, probably get the job, only to reject him. And I was going, wait a second, that doesn't really happen. How do you get this far with somebody not approving you as the next president? And it would have been a great job at a great university. LSU is always going to be governed by the governor. And we got to see more of that in Jeff Landry. And the governor is not necessarily a smart football guy. Jeff Landry knows a lot of stuff. I'm going to say football ain't at the top of the things that he knows best, right? We got the press conference to show that. So you're going to walk into that, but you're also going to walk into a place that if you love it, it loves you back. And it's going to give you the opportunity to build what you need. And you've been going to a place where Nick Saban has won a national championship, Les Miles has won a national championship, Ed Orgeron has won a national championship, Brian Kelly's had a Heisman winner. You can turn it into a winner. But the problem that I see is you could do that at Ole Miss right now. And you might be able to get there this season. It's not as if Ole Miss is bad or even a paper tiger. It's a good football team. It's a good enough football team to challenge everybody that it plays. Can it beat A&M? I'd like to see it. Can it beat Indiana? I'd like to see it. Can it beat Ohio State? I'd like to see it. And I find this to be a really fascinating move by the athletic director, who's also going, look, we don't like being jerked around like this, and nobody does. But it is Ole Miss saying, you don't have all the leverage in this situation. He kind of does, but he kind of doesn't. And the reason I say he doesn't have all the leverage, and he kind of does, the kind of does part of this is, who do you think you're going to go get if Lane Kiffin leaves you? And I think this is what myself as an analyst is going, okay, who's out there? But for fans, it could be just like it was for Tennessee. And that's the thing that I think the University of Mississippi is guarding against. We are not Tennessee, and Tennessee cannot stand Lane Kiffin. They hate that guy. They really, really, really hate him. It's not even the same with Nico Iamaleava, right? It's a different kind of disdain, but they genuinely hate that guy. Do you want to be hated at Oxford too? And that just be part of your reputation? Because it didn't go well at SC either. And he got rehabilitated by Nick Saban. Coach one hell of an offense until such a time he did some Lane Kiffin stuff. He started running plays that they had not practiced in a college football playoff semifinal. And that was enough for Nick Saban to say, okay, you're fired. And just as it looked like he was going to perhaps be an OC or a head coach at LSU, an OC at LSU, he was going to be the next head coach at Florida Atlantic. Get him up out of here. Because that's the thing about Kiffin. One of the most gifted play callers that we have in football, really, but also a true wild card. So I can't wait to see how this gets resolved, because this feels like a mess unless Kiffin just signs the extension.